Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another Live at Lunch.
I know.
I know.
Another Wednesday
Another Wednesday.
show.
Here we are.
Here we are.
My name is Becca. I'm the JV Outreach Coordinator with the WCA.
I'm Olivia. I'm the Prevention Coordinator at the WCA.
We forgot our theme song.
I've got it.
You should open a show with a theme song. We're amateurs.
Oh, but some shows they do like a little bit and then the intro comes in.
Okay, imagine a cut screen and then our theme song.
And you know how on Netflix it says you can skip the intro? You can't skip this
can't.
intro. Here I come. Again.
From our viewer.
Our anonymous, amazing viewer.
It's the Wednesday show with Becca and Liv. The Wednesday show with Becca and Liv. They talk about relationships and how they both live as roommates. It's the Wednesday show with Becca and Liv.
Yay! Hi, Erin.
Hi. I hope Chris saw that. Is she on?
I know. We should probably just send it to her, but then
We
that
should.
would reveal the identity of our anonymous viewer who submitted
Sender.
that. Yeah.
Anywho, it is Wednesday and it's a Live at Lunch, and we're talking about June is Pride Month. So today we're going to be sharing some topics specifically related to domestic abuse and sexual assault within the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yes.
And some, just topics that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, so
But-
let's get into it.
First, before we start, we should say that the WCA is still open. We're entering new phases, I feel like, and I don't know, for me it feels like I'm not quite sure what the rules are or like what still is acceptable, but the WCA is still, we will keep everyone updated on any changes that are made. Right now we're still going as we have been for the past couple of months. So if you need help or know someone who needs help, you can call our hotline at 208-343-7025 or visit our crisis center at 7020 West Washington Street.
We are struggling today.
We are really struggling.
We're tripping over our words, but that's okay.
I'm wearing the same flannel that I've worn 7 out of 10 days this whole quarantine.
Wow.
7 out of 10 days.
Okay, 70%.
70%.
All right, let's get into today's topic. Oh, Chris caught it. Chris, I'm glad that you caught it today. Yeah, so today I have with me the LGBTQIA plus power and control wheel. And we have power and control wheels for domestic abuse to kind of let us know what those nuanced or more subtle signs of abuse are beyond physical and sexual violence, because those are kind of the things that come to mind when you say domestic violence. Based on the stereotypes, people will think of physical or sexual violence. So the definition of domestic abuse is a pattern of actions used by one partner to gain power and control over the other. So this power and control wheel kind of outlines some of those things. So it's a wheel, it's divided into a bunch of little pie pieces. You can email us if you'd like to see it, and we can send you that document, or we'll figure out a way to get those to people if they would like them. But so it's different in LGBTQIA plus relationships because beyond physical and sexual violence, there can also be homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, and heterosexism used as components in this power and control wheel against people as a tactic to gain power and control over an individual. So some of the things that are inside of this wheel could be use of intimidation, using emotional abuse. And I think when we think of using emotional abuse and things that would be specific to the LGBTQIA plus community, that could be purposefully dead naming someone, which is when someone has transitioned and they have a new name to match their gender identity expression, and someone will use their old name or the name that they had before their transition as a way to hurt them, and that is emotional abuse. And I think that would be a more common thing in the LGBTQIA plus community. We also have using isolation, denying, minimizing, and blaming. So that can be saying that, a woman can't be abused or a man can't be abused. So if it's a lesbian couple, there can't be abuse in that relationship because it's two women, and that's a way of minimizing, denying, or blaming people for what their experiences are. There can be using children, using your privilege. So I think this one specifically, when we're talking about using privilege as a way of abuse in an LGBTQIA plus relationship, it could be using someone's gender identity against them, saying, okay, if you are a cisgender person, then you have more privilege being a cisgender person than someone who is trans, and that can be used as a way of abusing someone. Oh, hi, Mom. Good little comment.
Hi.
There's using economic abuse, and then the last little piece on this pie wheel is using coercion and threats. So you can threaten to out someone if they're not out publicly yet as their gender identity or sexual/romantic orientation. Someone can use that against them and use that as a way of controlling their behavior by saying that they will out them to their friends, family, or larger community.
Yeah, these power and control wheels are super, super helpful because, again, I don't know what's happening this morning, but they're super helpful because they really, so as Liv talked about, they have all those subheadings, but then underneath they go into really specific detail about like what this could include. And I think laying it all out and having it right in front of someone is a really impactful way for them to see like, oh, these things that I'm experiencing aren't just specific to my relationship. It's something that can be mapped out and put on a recorded structure.
Yeah, and something we do as the prevention team when we work with different groups or classrooms or organizations, and we're with a group of youth, we'll pull out the teen power and control wheel, and we'll have them go through and read each one and ask them why they think that could be a way of having power and control over someone, or why that's not okay. And hearing them talk it out is really interesting. And when they look at it and think about it in different ways, it kind of has those aha moments with them.
Yeah. So I think, like we mentioned, when we think about abuse, commonly there's some stereotypes that come into what you might envision. It's usually a heterosexual relationship and usually a man abusing a woman. So today we are focusing on LGBTQIA+ relationships because it is Pride Month and because we just should include the diversity of human experience. So we are going to talk about some barriers that are specific to this community seeking help, getting help, the proper help that they need. So this is from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, these bulleted points that I'm going to talk about a little bit. So even though we are making some progress, and the Supreme Court just came out with that ruling that no one can be fired on their basis of sexual orientation, there are still societal beliefs that domestic violence does not occur in LGBTQ relationships. There are still stigmas against people in these kinds of relationships.
That's a very scary phone. We do have a landline. 1 second.
I don't know why it's that ringtone.
I know, it's really alarming.
Thanks, Liv. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that happens way often.
Yeah, I don't know who
never
still has
people we know.
Who still has a landline, but we do, and it has that very ominous ringtone to it.
What are the odds?
Anyway.
Anywho, yes, there are still stigmas attached to being in these relationships, unfortunately. So for these people who are in these kind of relationships, it can be, they can be afraid of not getting the proper care because of biases against them, or not being spoken to in the appropriate way, or the people who they are trying to seek help from not having the proper training to know how to deal with those kind of relationships or approach those kind of relationships. Another bullet point that I don't often think about, domestic violence shelters are typically female only, and transgender individuals may not be allowed entrance due to their gender or genital or legal status. Low levels of confidence in the effectiveness of the legal system for LGBTQ people. So I think generally, I will put this link up in the comments, but all of these bullet points center on the fact that there is still stigma attached to being in LGBTQIA+ relationships or being a person of that identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the rulings are amazing and it's great, but we still have to talk about those relationships and, educate ourselves and know, that there's still a lot of ways that we have internalized biases against people in the LGBTQIA+ community, and the only way to learn and do better is to talk about them and to educate ourselves and use Google if you don't know some of the acronyms in the long LGBTQIA+ acronym is a really good way of just like, oh, okay, so that's what that means, and educating yourself about that community.
Yeah.
All right, if anyone doesn't have any questions. Oh,
Hi,
Chris.
Tracy.
Hi,
Hi,
Tracy.
Chris.
Today's was a quick one, even though we stumbled over our words. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week for another Wednesday live at lunch. Thanks for joining. Bye.